All right, we're recording. So we actually have quite a lot of things to talk about. So I missed what you were saying, Carrie, about. So you guys have an Australia specific call tomorrow. Is that right?
At
Yeah.
11 a.m. Sydney time. We
Okay.
received an email just probably in the last, I'm going to say last couple of hours.
Well,
But I saw Kristen's had hers. You
the
had yours.
what?
Kristen's already had hers.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, like, hopefully, like I asked her specifically about Australia, and I was like, well, so did they talk about like any new products that are rolling out? And she said, no, they didn't, but that you guys have a country specific call. So maybe they will. I mean, I'll give you a brief overview of what she's told me.
Okay.
Of
I'm all ears.
the overall stuff, but maybe there'll be even more for Australia, hopefully. But I mean, it's huge. Like what they're changing from a compensation plan is huge, and they're doing it because they recognize that people were struggling. Like 2018 was a really hard year, and 2017 was an amazing year. So they started to make things more challenging for people, and
Right.
then things got harder on top of that, and so they recognize that the struggles really impacted belief. If you don't see your upline achieving things and you don't think you can achieve things, then that impacts your belief and that impacts everything. And so they're making everything easier. So I'm not going to remember all the details. I haven't participated in the call yet. My call's tomorrow too. But the big things are the car is significantly easier. The free car is significantly easier. It went from volume of 125,000 to 75,000. So that's a huge decrease.
Wow.
And Kristen's volume, I mean, like Kristen could be so close. And not only did the volume decrease, but they had upped the number of EC legs that you had to have to 11. Well, that came back down, and you just have to be a level 5. So you only need 8 EC legs and $70,000 in volume. So that's a huge difference and makes things so much more achievable. And then so like the level 5 circle trip, which you had to have 25,000 in org volume and 8 EC legs, and you had to you have to have it for 4 months or whatever it is. That went down to 15. And so I've got the volume. I don't have the EC legs right now, but so that trip is to like, well, I don't know where it is in Australia, but in the U.S. it's to San Fran. I don't know if for Australia, did they fly you to San Fran? I don't know.
It was, last year it was in San Fran.
Yeah, but so that trip right now is in sight for Kelly and I think Carrie as well, because you guys could have the EC legs, and Kelly, you've had 15,000 in volume before, many times. So that's definitely achievable. And then some of the, the elite and premier, like all the rest of the things got easier. But to me, the big ones are that level 5 circle and then the car. Like, to me, the car was just so far off, 125,000 in volume, but now 75 seems doable. Like Kristen will get that car this year. It's not crazy far off for the rest of us. And the car is changing from a Lexus to a Mercedes. Not that that necessarily matters to anybody, but supposedly it's a better deal overall in terms of just how they negotiated things and, how the whole thing will work. The other thing that they're doing is they're simplified Spark. And you know how it was like, first you did this, then you did this, then you did this.
Yeah, that's good.
They've simplified it, and I don't have all the details I don't know all the details, nor do I have them in front of me, but the way I understand it is all you have to do is within your first 6 months, your first 6 months, hit level 2 and you get $1,000 bonus. And it's probably more in Australia. I don't know that. And who knows, like, I don't know how long you have to maintain it or whatever, but it's just clear and simple. Level 2, $1,000. So I think that's great. They're continuing the double miles for Lead the Way.
Yay!
For recruiting.
Yay! Honestly, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
I think that motivates people knowing. It certainly motivates me knowing.
Because like, it was kind of impossible to get to like the milestone 4 and 5. I thought. But with double miles, like, it's definitely achievable.
And for a whole 6 months, it's achievable because we only had it from September.
Mm-hmm.
So for a whole 6 months, you could easily get to. Wow, that's amazing.
And I think this Lead the Way, they're changing things a little bit. I think the trip is going to be your choice of trips.
Not convention.
What? Well, that would be for the next round. I don't know. But then supposedly for the next round, the back half of 19's Lead the Way, they're going to revamp it more, but I don't know what that is.
This is so exciting.
I know. So I think it's huge. I haven't heard it firsthand, so I think it'll be even more compelling when you hear it from corporate and hear all the reasons why and all of that. But everything that they're doing is, for us, is to help us. Like, I don't think there's any downsides to what they're doing. It's all upsides for us. And then they did not, she said they did not say for sure, like any new countries for 2019. It sounds like it's 2020, but then they rattled off a number of countries that they're looking at. So Japan, which we know about, I think she said Hong Kong, Korea, Brazil, and Western Europe is what I remember.
Yeah.
But so nothing, it doesn't sound like there's an immediate announcement, but it sounds like there's lots that they're working on.
So one thing that happened that I didn't tell you at that last recognition high tea thing I went to just before Christmas, met this amazing lady who I'll talk to you about another time, but she gets onto LinkedIn and does all sorts of amazing things. And she said to me, she has seen the advertising for people for head office for Rodan and Fields in Japan.
Ooh.
They are already looking for staff for the distribution center, sales support.
Exciting. Huh. Yeah,
and she said it was on LinkedIn, so it's not like that. And they said Japan so many times that day, it wasn't funny.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I was, Kelly and I talked today, and we were talking about our Japan connections, and I was going to wait until after the corporate call tomorrow, hoping that they'd have something more tangible that I could share with people. But I am going to start reaching out to the people in Japan. I'm going to try to start connecting with new people with, Japanese connections, and just say, we know it's coming. We don't exactly know when, but, it's going to be big. So I would encourage you guys to do the same, especially with that. Like, if we know that they're staffing already. So I think that's all I can recall, but definitely get on that call tomorrow. Encourage everybody on your team to get on the call. Even people that aren't really working, maybe it'll light a little bit of a spark under them. So try to get everybody you can on. And so I know that like Rose and Stacy and Carrie and, you know, whoever else, they've got a call tonight that Stacy was calling like a leader strategy call. And I was kind of hoping that they would like have some, you know, suggestions from a strategy standpoint as to how we leverage all these new announcements when we're talking to people. Kristen didn't seem to think that, you know, anybody would be ready with that yet. But maybe at our call next week, they and we, you know, can kind of have our heads wrapped around this to talk about how we can leverage all this good news as we're chatting with people in our that are already in our funnel and people that we, you know, just want to have conversations with. So so stay tuned on all that good stuff. But there are free cars in our future, free Mercedes in our future. So get it. I need one because I have this like Toyota minivan that my husband just wants to run into the ground. It's probably 9 years old. And oh my God, like we've had it serviced twice recently. And I was like, well, when should we think about getting a new car? And he was like, well, you were the one supposed to get the free Lexus. And I was like, well, just wait. We might be getting a Mercedes instead. Okay, so any questions on that before we start talking about some of the other stuff? No? Okay, so exciting news. One of the things I wanted to chat about was what tactics, if any, we want to do in January and February as a team. And one of the things that we talked about at the end of 2018 was for you guys, you said January 25th is Australia Day. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say? It's like your July 4th? What is it? Sort of. So, I don't know. I just wanted to help start a conversation about that to see if there's anything that you guys wanted to do as a group and how I could help with that if you did want to do something.
What do you guys think, Aussies? What do you guys think? Do you think it's...
What are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? And
well, Australia Day means different things to different people, but Australia Day basically is when Australia was discovered. But essentially, it's a day at the beach with the barbecue. It's hot, so everyone's outside. So they're not really on their computers.
Yeah.
What do you Aussies think?
Definitely, I think people will be sitting at home, on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be at home for Australia Day.
But could we do like something after it, or
should we just focus on with February for Valentine's Day?
Or what if you did some sort, and not necessarily an event, but if you did some sort of a game to just try to attract people to something, like, I don't know, just some kind of a holiday game. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like, you know, I wasn't suggesting an event either, but yeah, just something a theme to latch onto. So like, you know, for our Australia Day, our July 4th, you know, it's all about freedom, right? And so, it was like the freedom, you know, free your skin, freedom to, you know, love your skin, you know, whatever. Like, so we would, you know, do posts, do communication, do promotions or whatever around that theme. So it's just something that you guys could, you know, something to catch people's attention. So I just don't know what that is because I don't know what people are really celebrating. You know, I don't know what your theme could be.
Yeah. It's no one else is talking. It's Australia Day means different things to different people. I know I've said that already, but so some people don't like Australia Day in Australia because some people call it Invasion Day.
Yeah, I've got a few people on my Facebook that.
So the thing with us celebrating it, I don't know whether it would work. So I think that's, no one's saying anything, but I think I'm saying it on behalf of us, all of us. Yeah,
I have people on my Facebook that don't celebrate it of that such, and it's about an invasion.
Maybe we should just focus on February, or do you think we should do something in January? I think we should focus on February. That's my.
Well, that's fine by me. I mean, I don't care one way or the other. I was just trying to start a conversation about it. So that that works. What we had talked about for February was obviously around Valentine's Day, and I think Kelly had the Galentine's Day idea, which a lot of people, talked about last year, but I think, I don't know, it was too late. It was too late for us to really do anything about it. And so, Kelly, I think your idea was more around a in-person event.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be fun to do a happy hour and have drinks and and you call it Galentine's, and have a girls' night in, and just I don't know, maybe do some sort of. We have a new little reflexology place down the street, so I was thinking maybe have them come in for an hour and give everybody a little shoulder rub that shows up, and maybe we can play with the makeup, get somebody to do, just try the what do you call it, the new makeup stuff we have, and put that on, and I don't know, just try to have an event in the house.
Yeah. Just before we get off Australia for a second, I do think that next year, or this year, at the end of this year, we should do a Boxing Day sale, because there were so many people doing them in Australia. I almost just did one on my own, but we had a lot of family with us, but I was just so frustrated. And even Michael said, well, why don't you do it the following week and make it a happy, but we just had so many family that I couldn't organise it. But he said, you could have sort of had it so it's a Happy New Year sale. But there were advertising for Boxing Day sales on all the high level Australian women. They were doing them. There were virtual
do you mean
Rodan
and Fields, or do you mean any product?
I mean Rodan and Fields. So I'm talking about the what are they? Yeah.
So you mean all the other consultants, they were doing Boxing Day stuff?
The ones that are all that speak at all the events, they were all doing Boxing Day sales, virtual sales, and just all sorts of things. But
take note of some of the ones that you liked. Take note of the ones that you liked to copy for next year.
Yeah, I did. I do it all the time on Instagram in their stories. I screenshot as they go through. I've got this big pile of ideas stocked up.
Well, and an idea to tack on to Galentine's Day. I don't know if you guys have this in Australia, but here there's a new brand called Color Street of these sticker nail polish.
Oh yeah,
real nail polish. But anyway, that's another thing. You could partner with somebody else who does these nail kind of things, and add that to a Galentine's Day night in. Was there anything that we could do, as a team, or that we could do? Not necessarily not a virtual event, but is there anything, kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas? But is there anything that we could do together that would, benefit from online? That we could leverage social media. We talked about my favorite things.
We could do that in February and then finish it off with the Galentine's Day event and have some kind of a raffle or.
Yeah. And that might be kind of fun because if you did some things that aren't Rodan and Fields also, then you could be promoting your in-person event. Like, I'm going to, come to my in-person event and then you can see all this stuff.
Well, why don't you guys think about some of your favorite things, and then we can try to, let's post ideas, and then maybe we can try to figure out how to incorporate that into, some posts or, some images that we can stagger. I mean, I don't really have a handle on what this thing might become, but I don't know. I mean, last year.
Did you get a lot of traffic on yours last year? Or a lot of views and participation with your favorite things last year?
No. I mean, I think I got a couple orders out of it, but no, it wasn't anything major. But separately, we did a virtual event, didn't we? But I don't think it was very lucrative. I thought we did.
I don't remember.
Event, but I don't think we had. Isn't that the one that we did live, right? Where people were posting live videos. And I don't think that was.
I can't remember
the reason why it wasn't lucrative. I just don't think people were. Not like, Black Friday where people are in a huge shopping mode. Well,
I'm just thinking the only thing I can really think of is for us Aussies is just with it being summer, and we're so well known for how harsh it is as far as skin cancer, like some way to educate, but then maybe prizes like beach towels and yarn. I don't know, just very beachy summer themes. That's all I can. Everyone's just in holiday beach mode over here, so I'm just trying to think what's going to get people's attention. And skin cancer is massive, so even just some way of promoting our skincare.
Do you have a Skin Cancer Awareness Day or month or a certain? I'm sure it's around now. But
we definitely do, but I'm not sure when.
I'll have a look.
Well, yeah, we're definitely in very different seasons right now, that's for sure. You guys are in beach mode, so I don't know whether.
Yeah, like you guys were doing the beach towels and stuff. It's a shame we didn't have something like that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Janelle.
Well, everybody's probably sunburnt and throwing their skin at the moment, so I'm just thinking that might get their attention. If somehow we could market it that, I don't know, what we've got will save ya.
Oh, they don't have to go and sunbake. They can use the tan.
Yes. Has everyone used it?
Yeah, I love it.
Well, let's move on, but if you guys have like any specific thoughts, whether it's Australia specific or US or both, for how we may do, something around my favorite things or Valentine's Day or whatever, message us or just post them, down here, and then we can try to figure something out. But so it's January, so we do have some time, but we should try to figure out like with 12 days of Christmas, we were posting, December 1st through 12th. So we could do something similar where, we're posting at the beginning of February through Valentine's Day or something. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about before we get into the virtual platform and onboarding is last time we talked, I think we talked about at the beginning of our team calls, for those who wanted to, that we would report income producing activity, like kind of do our own accountability group. You know how Carrie Heupel has been trying to get those going, but for some of us it doesn't really work to do it in a big group of people we don't know, and it's just kind of overwhelming and intimidating. And so what we thought is that within our team, at the beginning of the call, just real quickly, I thought that for those of you who want to do it, we could share, number of reach outs, like that would be either reach outs or follow-ups, either one, number of conversations, and then results, like, you have any new PCs or any new Cs. And then if you have anything to share, like I'm struggling with this, or I had a big win with this, whatever. So it's really just 3 data points that you would share, and then any extra flavor that you would add on top of that. So anyway, I'm not ready to share because I haven't actually done anything yet. But so next week, like, be ready next week. Now's the time. We're getting on the ball. So let's plan on doing that next week for whoever is game. Does that sound good? So number of reach outs, number of conversations, and then new PCs or new Cs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm doing a lot of talking, but does anybody have anything they want to share before I get into the meat of things? No? Okay. Well, so what we had talked about before was taking a look at the new virtual platform, specifically around the Train More section, which is onboarding. So Carrie has brought in a couple of new people. Kelly did late in the year too. Hopefully we'll all be bringing in new people. And so we wanted to really get a handle on how we should be onboarding these people with this new platform in place. And so I did kind of a deep dive into it. Excuse me. And I thought I would give you just an overview. I don't know if anybody else has gone on to RF Virtual to kind of see what's out there yet, but so you may not know, but there's 3 components. There's Train More, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. So that's specifically for onboarding new consultants. And I have a summary that I can send you guys that I'm going to talk about, and I'll even probably share my screen for a little bit. There's Grow More, which that is a prospecting tool. And I haven't spent much time on this part of it, but this is where you would send your prospects to Train More, or to Grow More, sorry. You would send them there, and you would kind of pick and choose which video. I don't really know how it works, but you would pick and choose which videos you want them to watch, which information you want them to see, and then you can track and you can see what they engaged with. So that's the main component of Grow More. The other component is it kind of acts like a Teamsy would. So like Teamsy is how all of my list, all of my prospects are in Teamsy, and I put in there when I contact these people and what their responses are. So that functionality is in this Grow More. So, if you use Teamsy, or if you just have an Excel spreadsheet, or if you just have a notebook or whatever, it's kind of all in one place, both the keeping track of your prospects as well as educating them and seeing what they've engaged with. So I think this part of it is huge. And I have to believe that Rosanna feels that corporate is going to do a bigger launch of virtual. Like, it's out there, but I don't think it's, 100% function. I don't think all the functionality is there that they intend, but I also don't believe that they've really launched it. Like, they keep sending us emails and stuff, but I feel like they haven't made a big enough deal about it. So I feel like that is to come, with more training and more help and for us as to like what we should be doing. So train more, onboarding, grow more, prospecting, and then engage more is the third component of this. And that is where you host live virtual events. So this engage more will take the place of doing Facebook events or hosting a Facebook virtual event where we really do it as a group, right? But instead of doing it on Facebook, you would do it on this platform. So you can invite and track RSVPs through here. So if you already have all your prospects on there, you just invite them. And then you can do live broadcasting and track people, what they see, what they engage with. So, like on Facebook, we do groups for this so that we can see who's actually engaging with each post. That functionality will be here, which I think is huge. So I have not spent much time with grow more and engage more. What I focused on was train more to see what's out there, like what will our new consultants experience if this is how they onboard. And I think it's great. I think that it's all in one place. It's very professionally done. Not everything they need to know is there, of course, but I think that this Train More is a great, I think like this should be the foundation of our onboarding process. And what it is basically 16 videos, but they're short. So they total 64 minutes in total. So they're all just like a couple minutes each. And so it's broken down into 4 episodes of 4 videos. So 16 videos total, 4 episodes. And there's a quiz and a homework in between. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Is this interesting to you? Like, do you want to know more about this? Okay. So, how do I share my, okay. So I'm going to share my screen. This is a Word document. I didn't take the time to put this into PowerPoint or anything, but I think it'll still be helpful for you to see this versus me just talking the whole time. So hold on a second. Here we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's see if this works. All right, so do you see a Word document that says new RF virtual platform? Yeah? Okay. So when I scroll down, does it scroll down for you? You see train more overview? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the content. So the first episode, so again, there's 4 episodes. The first episode is just you're in business, welcome. And so there's 2 women on these videos. So it's that Maisha Proctor woman, the African-American, very dynamic. And then the other woman, I actually don't know her name. She's beautiful, young, long, dark hair, very charming. Not as dynamic as Maisha, but she's a very good presenter. So anyway, that's who is talking. So you're in business. It's all about your why, building your list, crafting your story, and reaching out, which really is just about launching on social media. It's not reach out how the way we say it, but I just wanted to put the titles that they use. So anyway, each of these is just a couple minutes. So they're really just giving an overview of all of this. But then at the end of this episode, before you can move on to episode 2, you have to take a little quiz, pretty easy. But you take a little quiz, and then they have an action plan. So you probably won't be able to see this, but so it's like I don't know, like a 6 or 7 page document that goes through. So, it's like you watch the video and then you get your leave behind, right? And there's places for notes on here. So the homework in your action plan is crafting your why. So there's examples in there. Talks about joining the Rodana Fields community, the team pages, the local Rodana Fields pages, redefine your future blog, local events, crafting your short story, recording it, sharing it with your sponsor, announcing your business on social media, building your list, reaching out to your first 5 people, and posting on social media. So, really the nuts and bolts of it. But what's nice is that the videos are short and sweet, but then you have the meat behind it in, a very professional format. So that's episode 1. And again, all of these videos total just a little over an hour. So really, I think we could ask our newbies, like, okay, day 1, watch these videos. You complete this whole thing your first day. The homework they wouldn't really be able to complete, but they can watch all these videos. They can watch an hour's worth of videos, right? So then episode 2, is this working? Are you able to scroll down with me? Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is called Your First Steps to a Strong Foundation. So that's about goal setting, a daily action plan, how we always talk about daily activity, unboxing your business kit, and sharing the product. So that action plan, so again, there's a quiz at the end of that, and then an action plan that you print along with this one. I actually have a couple of other cheat sheets that I think are pretty interesting. There's a PC Perks best practices checklist. It's a 1-pager. And then a Pulse cheat sheet that is actually focused on the Pulse app. How Pulse on your computer is a little different than Pulse app, but anyway, a Pulse cheat sheet. But the action plan focuses around your sponsor discussion. So what Carrie Heupel was calling like your game plan meeting with your sponsor around your why, your goals, your daily activity, getting ready for your launch event, getting familiar with Pulse, getting to know the products, continuing to build your list, continuing to reach out and post on social media. So then episode 3 is about sharing your business. That was what they call it. And that's where they introduce 3-way calls and the reason for 3-way calls with the third-party validation, a training tool, and building belief. Learning to invite, launch events, and follow-up. And so this action plan is specifically around scheduling your first 3-way calls. And how we like talk about doing it with your dirt list or, just getting those calls, with your mom or your sister or whatever, just, so you can experience it. Practicing your short story and inviting people to your launch event. Then the last episode is called Recipe for Success. This one I thought was like kind of the least, this one was a little bit more nebulous, but this is about creating lasting habits. So they give their recommendation on what your daily activity should be. So they say 5 reach outs a day, follow up within 24 hours, add to your network each week. Talks about your resources like Comms Corner, the blog, RF Virtual, Solution Tool, Daily Experience, Pulse, Team Pages, leadership mindset, and then creating your future. So this action plan is around continuing to build your list and how you will do that, about planning the content of your social media post, hosting events every month, committing to 5 reach outs a day, scheduling more 3-way calls, learning from your notes, so this one is less specific and more, about building yourself into a leader. So that is the nuts and bolts of it. And so what you can do as their sponsor is you can see when they've gone in and completed this stuff. So each step of the way, you'll be able to see where they are, which is nice. And then what I've done from here is just kind of thought about, all right, so how would what's our new onboarding process with this new tool? And so, before we had that welcome letter and we kind of outlined our old onboarding process in that welcome letter. So we said, okay, first what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Team Spark New C training and you're going to print this presentation out and then you're going to, blah, blah, blah. So assume we have that welcome letter and, we're saying, okay, here's what's going to happen. So day 1, you go to our virtual. Here's the link. You log in with your Pulse ID, blah, blah, blah. You've got 16 videos to watch. It's going to take you a little over an hour. And there's a quiz and homework. Complete as much of the homework as you can. But try to get that done in your first day. How great would that be if they're boom, hour, you're done, And then in your first week, so sometime that first week, you have whatever we want to call this meeting. Carrie Hypo calls it a game planning meeting, right? I think. Mm-hmm. But so this is where your goal setting and action planning meeting with your sponsor, where you discuss a lot of the things that you have done in your homework. So your why, your goals, your daily activity plan. Your sponsor discusses roles between sponsor and consultant. You share your story if you're ready. You plan your launch event. You plan how you'll achieve Spark. So Spark is not included in Grow More. They don't talk about Spark at all. And I guess the reason for that is because Spark is changing. And I guess it's changing right now. And so they couldn't put it in there. And maybe because Spark continues to morph, they didn't want to put it in, but anyway, it's not even mentioned. So that has to be a part of this game planning. The sponsor needs to make sure that the new consultant understands the bigness of Spark and how they need to be working toward that. The other thing that I forgot to mention that's changing is that, I forget what they call it, but the recruiting bonus, they're continuing that. So how Carrie brings in 2 people in 1 month, or she did, and she got X amount of dollars, however much it was.
$150.
Yeah, so they're continuing that
per person, I think it was, on top of
what you get. I forget what the number was, but they're continuing that, and they're extending it to include in the US it's the $395 kit. I don't know what it is in Australia, but so it would be included on anybody that bought the biggest kit, the next biggest kit, and then the next biggest kit. So everything but the business portfolio. I don't know anybody in the US who comes in on the $395. So I feel like it's either $695, $995, or $45. It's that $395 is so stupid, but anyway, they're including that.
That's the personal results kit in Australia, isn't it, ladies?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So that, sponsor New C discussion, as always, will be a big one. And then I said week 1 or 2 is when we get more people involved, have them meet and greet others on the team. And then sometime in month 1 is when they'll start doing some other training. And so we have to figure out what that is and where it goes. But we had talked about I think the Team Spark Newsfeed training goes away, that group. And we just have, whether it's in Team Spark or Sizzle Squad or whatever it is, like a units where we have training videos. So I feel like what we'll need is compensation. So I know Carrie Heupel did what she calls bucket video. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but in her new onboarding, she has a link to the bucket videos, which I assume is, your SC bucket, your PSQV bucket. So I assume she's talking compensation, but I haven't actually watched it. But they don't go into compensation at all in the onboarding. So that's something that for sure will need to be added on. And then I think we already have a product training video. We could use that or whatever, but I feel like we need that. We have that PC Queen one. I haven't watched in a while. I don't even remember what's on there, but that's another one. I feel like we need something on prospecting. Like we change our prospecting process, our system so frequently, but kind of decide what we're using, and that would be an added training. Not that they need to do it right away, but it would be, something for them to do within their first month. And then I just think daily experience is such a good resource. So, and then at the end of month one, there would be another formal call, which I don't think we really do this, but I feel like we should, that there should be, another formal check-in with at least the sponsor and the new consultant, or maybe, more in your upline, where you're just, trying to see like where they are. Let's share your story again, share your IPA numbers with me, what's working, what's not working, how can we help, all of that. But I feel like we just need to formalize that, like if there is some sort of, if people feel like there's some sort of like accountability that, okay, at the end of my 30 days, I've got to report some numbers. It's an opportunity for me to ask for help from, so-and-so's upline. If it was a more formalized process, I feel like it could help, because we're not only struggling on recruiting as a whole, but the people that we are recruiting, no one's doing anything. So we've got to do something about that. And so anyway, this is just a first pass of like, okay, here's what's in the corporate onboarding, and here's what we need to add to it, and here's how it might fit into a process. And then I've got some other stuff here, trying to think about, okay, like what are we going to give them? And so there's a page on resources, which has all the different Facebook groups and the blog articles on our team leaders. And we need to add Kristen's blog article. And then other online resources like, RF Connection, RF Virtual, RNF Journey, where all the incentives are, the hotlines, blah, blah, blah. So that is what I have so far. And I don't believe, I asked Kristen this, she hasn't like looked into this at all. And I kind of don't think Carrie Heupel has either, but anyway, I think it's going to be a good thing, what we have here. And I like, in the past, our onboarding systems have been centric to us, like it's Kristen doing videos or Carrie Heupel doing videos, which isn't a bad thing, but I like them getting exposure to corporate. I like it being like this true system, that they're learning from, the head office, and then we supplement. And in the past, corporate, when I first came on, they had their own onboarding. It wasn't very good. And so that's why the consultants went off and made their own. But I feel like this time you know, it's not all there, but I feel like it's a very good foundation that corporate has. And it just is so much more professional, I think, than us saying, okay, here's a presentation, go, you know, download it and watch this video. Or have it be Carrie Heupel, which is fine, but I don't know, I just feel like that is I don't know. I like it better at being corporate and then our larger team supplements. So that is the scoop. Any thoughts or questions?
Well, thank you for doing that. That was amazing. And all the resources you've put at the bottom, and also supplementing some of the things from like PC Queen and things like that, because I think they're all still really important. I like that the new Train More videos are really short.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just give them a taste. And then, you know, if people want more information, they only need to go into Pulse or onto YouTube. And I think that's going to be one of the announcements. I don't know. I got that impression when we were at convention that we're going to have almost like our own YouTube channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that, I think that's probably coming. But
well, yeah, I think that's what's on the Grow More. So that is where all of like the YouTube, you know, all the videos are housed there of.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? It's probably a really dumb one, but since I've been off the radar for so long, with this, so for us to gain access, wasn't that part of, didn't you have to like sign up and pay money to have access to this virtual?
Yeah, so new consultants, I believe, get access. Free access. Is that 30 days or is it longer?
I think it's 30 days.
I don't know. I know it's for sure at least 30 days.
Yeah.
So that's good. So like, you know, they immediately have access, just like they have Pulse free for 30 days. So you send them there and there's no cost. But yeah, after that, for everybody, you know, if you didn't pay for convention in some way, shape, or form, then yes, you have to subscribe to virtual, and I believe it's what, $89
for the year.
But
sorry.
You know, I don't know what people will think about that, but hopefully, you know, new consultants will see the value as they've like gone through the onboarding. Hopefully they'll be, you know, bringing on their own new consultants. They're like, oh, you know, here's this platform, and, you know, it'll just be so obvious that, you know, it's worth $89. But and then for everybody else, like, you want to.
So I have to access it then for me to be able to share it to new consultants.
Yeah. So you didn't do virtual convention? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you'll have to subscribe, and that's why I feel like there's got to be like some bigger push from corporate, like, around this. I mean, I know that they've been, you know, telling people to subscribe to virtual, but I just don't feel like it's been like a big enough bang of a launch. But
I just had a look at that email, and that email was sent to me, and the consultants that I have put on, they have until the 11th of January. It's free. They can go in and do the training. And it's anyone that was put on from September to December had access to it until the 11th.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So
and then I don't know after that. So I got that on the 21st of December, and they all individually got it as well. But it's like a reminder. I got it as a reminder, but they all got an email saying they could go in and.
Well, yeah, so you guys,
I don't think anyone did.
The 8th here, it's the 9th there. Well, yeah, you guys should, you know, well, now that you have an overview, you can at least educate them, you know, tell them to go out there. They've got, you know, 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah.
And
and being so short, maybe they can get it done.
Well, right.
Within that time.
Seriously, like, go in there. It's an hour's worth of videos. and then, get them to print out all this good material, so it's 4 action plans and then a couple of different, checklists and stuff. So, I definitely think it would be worth all of their time, tell them it's, an hour and a half. I think they could do it all in an hour and a half, like including the printing and, all of that. And then they can.
I didn't see I was driving, so I didn't get to see the homework, but is the homework something you really need to think about? And is it going to take, how long do you think?
Yeah. So it's, that's the thing. Like, they're not going to be able to complete the homework on the fly. So it's, crafting your why, crafting your story, building your list, stuff like that, planning your lunch. Yeah. But at least if they got in there before it closed down to them and could print off, so there's 4 episodes and each one has this action plan with the homework, printed that off, then they could spend more time with the homework.
Yeah.
So,
well, and Janelle, that's what we could do for you too, is print it off for you and send it.
Yeah.
Because your new girls, if you had new girls, they would be able to go into it.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, so even if I don't sign up, at least it's going to be something that they can use, as long as I've got a rough idea of what's on there.
Mm-hmm. So I can send you guys, or I can attach it in the post, this little summary that I did. I didn't want to send it ahead of time because I didn't want to overwhelm people because it's like 4 pages. But so I'll send that to you. And I can also, I'll have to see if these action plans are still like on my computer. I would assume they downloaded, right? So I can post those too. So you guys have those if I can find them. I probably won't do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. So that's that. So what we've got a lot to digest with tomorrow, but so like next week, I guess, let's talk about like how we try to get people more engaged with this virtual platform. And we had talked about, trying to do some sort of incentive or something to get people to subscribe, because there definitely is, like I plan on getting rid of Teamsy. I pay a shitload of money for Teamsy. I think it's like,
I've got Teamsy too.
I think it's like $25 a month or something. So for me, I mean, like I'll go to convention, so it doesn't matter. But like, if I didn't go to convention, for me to pay $89 a year and get the Teamsy functionality plus like everything else, like that's nothing. So what worries me is like getting all the information from Teamsy onto this platform. I don't really understand how that's going to work, but for everybody else, just, if you aren't using something to manage your list, just having that functionality there along with everything that it's linked to, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's a lot, but I think all of this is very exciting, what's going on, both the virtual stuff and then all these other compensation changes. So good stuff in our future.
So we should have a call next week and not a power hour, right? You want to do another one in a row?
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like we have a lot to talk about. I mean, we'll see. Like, if we don't have anything to talk about next week, then yes, let's do a power hour. But I kind of feel like with all these announcements that we'll need to chat. But
definitely,
yeah.
Did anybody else watch the Leslie Zane?
I tried. I couldn't get through it. Did you get through it? Did you get something out of it?
I loved it.
I did too. I liked how she talked about the seasons.
What was that?
The seasons. Yes. And how you approach different seasons differently.
Yeah. So I copied everyone onto it. Did you see it, Tanya? No. And I put at the bottom, because I put a lot of videos in there, I just said if there's any that you watch this one. And then she actually had a printout. It's all through Kerry Hypel, through Team. I can't see myself. I can only see you guys. So if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So very motivational. And it wasn't Rodan and Fields specific, that training. So she was talking in a general way about if you were in this kind of industry, that this is how you approach it. And she talked also about, you know, the little procrastinating things that we go through or the thoughts that we have. She did it for so many years. She's heard, and she's very straightforward. She knows every excuse in the book. She's done it all herself. So she just had like little tips to help you if you're feeling this way or that way, or you need to do this or that. And then that's what I was looking for, fiddling around with papers since I've been sitting here. But yeah, I've got this, so I'm going to take this with me on the plane and I'll be working on it. But it's create your own, and she's done it in bite-sized pieces. So it's create your own 90-day plan for success. And that's what they're trying to do. January to March, this is what you need to do. You know, good way to start the year. If you're trying to do lead the way, things like that, the better off you can do at the beginning. It makes it so much easier at the end with lead the way. So if you or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, for me, everyone knows it's lead the way. But yeah, it's kind of my thing.
Sorry, Carrie,
love to know what the prizes are.
Carrie, what was the link? You put it on
So Leslie Zan, Zann. But if you go on to Kerry Hypel's Team Drive,
oh yeah, yep.
she actually wanted us all to be on there live. I wasn't able to be on there live, but she put the recording in there.
Okay.
And she also put a Google link, so that you could print off this.
Yeah.
And I just found it no nonsense. And because it wasn't specific, it was just something that you could use for whatever. So I'm definitely going to do that. And this, on top of anything else that we're going to do, this is just going to help. Do you know what I mean? It helps with the motivation. It helps with the goal planning. You know, so she's got on here daily goal, weekly goal, monthly goal, you know, new people that you speak to, new people that you add to your list, 3-way calls, but just, yeah, but, you know, brought down to daily, weekly, monthly. So you have something to work towards and work with.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Nice. Yeah, I had her on, and then I like put it in the background and was doing other stuff, and then I was like, oh, I'm just turning it off. I'm not paying attention. But I like the idea, but there was something about her voice that I just couldn't hear.
Oh yeah.
She was not what I was expecting, because everybody talks so much about Leslie Zann and how amazing she is, and that, you know, changed her life, and, you know, and then she gets on, I'm like, oh, she's not what I expected. She's got this like voice that I don't know.
So did you watch the one the year before?
No.
Did you, Kelly? Tanya?
I think I did.
I got a lot out of that as well. And during the year, there were just every now and then something she'd say would pop into my head. So I don't know.
Well, I know that
I agree. She's got a real she talks.
Well, people have she does like in-person training in Chicago a lot with this group, and they just all rave about her. So I was kind of expecting this like therapist that's like warm and, you know, but she's like a little church mouse with like a very annoying voice.
Well, the other thing that she was really big on is I remember from last year her saying, and I don't remember if I heard from someone or if I listened to her, but she was talking about phone calls. Stop texting, stop sending the messages. You need to pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody. And in January, she was saying, make that your sprint month and do 30 reach outs in 3 days. So she's like 30 and 3. And so, and then
she actually had a date, didn't she, Kelly? So she had a date to have it done by as well, which I watched it after that date. So I was like, oh, that didn't happen.
Yeah. And then she said, pick up the phone and make, two phone calls for reach outs and then do one follow-up, 2 reach outs, 1 follow-up. And she had a reason for doing it that way.
Yeah, she has the psychology behind all of it, and that she does explain in it as well, why you do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was something like, because it's a follow-up, it's something that's already started, so you've got the confidence from that to do the other 2. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, girls, I'm going to have to be rude and leave, and I will see you all next week.
Okay. All right. I got to go too, girls.
Okay.
You guys okay if I end the meeting? Oh, God, we're still recording. Oh, Lord.
Oh.